Sweet.
Lauren, Mary, we start the podcast the same way every time. 3, 2, 1. I'll take it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Talking Stone podcast. Today, it's me, John Silk, hosting you today. I'm very excited to be hosting and proud to be hosting my girlfriend, Lauren Marie, and Mary. What's your last name?
Dufrene.
If you're comfortable, I called that out there. Help.
Not know how to pronounce.
We're holding her in the dungeon.
True.
Yeah, no. We're very excited to be talking today, and we start the podcast the same way with a clap, and then we also ask your rose, bud, and thorn. Your bud is, what is coming this week, what's going to be good. Are you excited for it? You're not excited for it, and that's your thorn. That's when you're not excited for it. That's your thorn. And what is your rose? What's good? What's happened this week, and you've loved it. So, Lauren, you can start us off.
Ooh, I'm not gonna mess up this time.
So we start with our bud.
My bud. Ooh, I'm just looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to relax, just chill. This has been a crazy week for me. Just a lot of schoolwork, so I'm looking forward to that. My thorn this week. Ooh, I have to say it's just a lot of schoolwork, a lot of stress. It's like a few weeks back from spring break, so getting back into the swing of things. A lot of essays to write, but otherwise, we're getting through it slowly but surely.
What's your rose?
Ooh. My rose, I guess being invited back on this podcast.
Really excited to be back.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you needed to do anything extra like you didn't do last time, or you weren't like, hi mom, or something like that? Was there anything you feel like you needed to do, come back and have a little bit of vengeance on the podcast? Because you're like, I saw myself there and I could do better next time.
Honestly, I like watching the playback because it lets me know how I can improve.
Yeah.
But I guess not saying that I'll be invited back every time, but I guess having a second chance at the podcast, it's kind of like a do-over and I can improve on things, I guess. So I guess having a second chance is the best part.
Right. What's your rose?
That was it.
That was your rose?
Yeah,
okay.
being on the podcast again.
Being on the podcast. That's happening right now. That's today.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're so glad to have you back. Mary, do you want to have a go at this? What's coming this week that you're excited about? What's your bud?
My bud is probably Big Little reveal on Saturday.
Ooh.
For Alpha Phi Omega, my co-ed service frat. I'm very excited. I love all of the pledges.
It's so cute.
They're wonderful. They're very excited, and so am I. They're very sweet. We have themes for reveal, so I really want to see everyone's themes. We have some very creative brothers who are going to be
What's one of the themes, if you can give us one?
I can't.
No.
I apologize.
This won't be released till next Wednesday.
Well, my frat twin, the host of this podcast, Scott, is greasers. So pink grease kind of thing.
Cute.
So he has pink jackets for him and his little, and then I'm gonna do
sense.
some sort of pink shirt, black pants, like one of the pink ladies.
Oh, that's fun. Are you gonna have a scarf or no?
Not unless you let me borrow one.
Oh my gosh.
I'll check my closet.
Stay out of Lauren's closet. Anyway, what is your thorn? What's something that's been a thorn in your side?
A thorn has probably been trying to figure out how to fast for Lent. How to fast in a way where I can have food that is good. You know what I mean? Because I'm a very big carnivore. I love red meat. I do chow. You've seen me in the caf. It's so bad.
Down, the colloquial term.
But other than that, it's hard for me to figure out stuff that I like that doesn't contain meat on the days where I can't eat it. So that's kind of been thorn, more so just nervousness than anything.
About school, about what?
About living on campus, I guess.
That's a great thorn to have, because I don't really think that's a bad thing.
No,
I think I'm surrounded by kids my age, and I think it's a great thing. But we can get into that later.
Yes, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
We will.
No, that's your thorn. What is your rose? What is something that's good that's happened this week?
My family is at Disney right now, and they're
Celebration.
They're buying you
Yes.
souvenirs.
Wait,
No,
were they at Disney for Mardi Gras?
Yes, Mardi Gras is this week, and so I'm from New Orleans. For those on the podcast that haven't met me, those who are watching.
Yeah, because we've met you before.
Yes, obviously, but you get an entire week off for Mardi Gras, and that's your spring break. So we had spring break the week before Mardi Gras, but they have this entire week. So they're going to be in Disney the whole week. Well, if you don't give people off for Mardi Gras, then
they're
going
throw
to be off.
hands.
They're going to be off either way. I'll just say that.
Right.
Especially in New Orleans.
Oh yes.
And we're celebrating them being at Disney during this week.
They're very happy, and I love seeing all of the photos of them
That's
just
awesome.
being super happy and chilling, doing what they love. You know.
We're glad to hear it. I think your point on fasting for Lent and that kind of like sacrifice to give something up is a really good roll into our topic today of sacrifice in a modern world. So like we'll talk about how we can get into that. What is sacrifice in the modern world? Do either of you have an answer for that kind of question? What does it look like? Like just in everyday business, what does that look like? You're just going about your day. What is a modern day sacrifice? Something you just give up on the daily basis. Like say you don't drink soda for breakfast or lunch or dinner, I don't know. And you choose to have water just to go for the alternative.
Ooh.
What is something you do?
This is a thinker question.
It's
Don't think too long.
I know. We got limited amount of time. I don't know. One thing that I do, I never have sodas until like, I guess afternoon classes, like 4 o'clock probably.
There you go.
Because I don't have it for lunch. I don't have it for breakfast. Because I tend to do water for all of it to like stay healthy. And then like at the end of the day, I'll be like, okay, it was a hard work day. I'll give myself a little treat. So that's I guess what I do.
Who's a good girl? Who gets a little treat at the end of the day? That sounds like me talking to my dog. Yeah, no, I come home to my dog on the weekends too, and I'm like, who wants a treat? You want a treat?
But yeah, I guess that's
Yes.
that's one of my
Yeah.
sacrifices that I
a
make
little
during the
soda
day.
as a treat.
I think that's something I more challenge myself with is when I try to give up soda, and I'm just like, it's so good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good. Bring it back.
It's very
Let me see it.
convenient.
But I think that's like the whole point of it, though.
It
that
is a sacrifice.
it's something good, so you're willing to sacrifice it for the betterment of yourself.
Now
or
we're
the
talking about
betterment
a
of,
soda, and this
you
is
know.
such a first world problem.
No, I agree.
Talk about
I
a soda
agree.
No,
is a
you're
sacrifice.
right. You're
Yeah.
right.
But that modern sacrifice, we're in the modern age, we're a modern country. I feel like, I don't know, I'm talking into a mic that's being recorded right now. It's kind of crazy. But, do you have anything you give up on a day-to-day basis or like forego and you feel like that's a little bit of a sacrifice for you?
I try to be. I guess the whole point of a sacrifice is to be more conscious of what you do.
Yeah.
So rather than having like a big specific goal, what I try to do is just be more conscious. So like what I say, what I do, what I wear, trying to figure out how to present myself in a way that is like
Respectable.
respectable, but not just for me,
But
for others as well, because that is like an important thing.
Mhm.
Also, being conscious of other people. I think that's a big thing, especially in a modern world when people
Yeah.
are so selfish and so like, and I don't mean selfish like in a rude way, but we are very self-centered, So I think that's very important to just take a step back and focus more so on what you can do for other people rather than just,
Yeah. I think a big thing that we normally forego and sacrifice without even thinking about it is time. It's a huge part of like, being a parent, being an adult, being a kid. Time. When you were younger, you thought you had all the time in the world. And that was everything. You had all the time. You could play with your cars all day. You didn't even, school was an afterthought to me. I was focused on whatever I was going to do with the cars. I was like, I'm going to play with my cars, with my Legos, or do something like that. School was an afterthought. My homework, afterthought. But as I got older, it switched.
You slowly realize time exists.
Yeah, time exists, and it's going to like pull on your neck and bring you in the other direction, whether you want to go kicking and screaming in that way, because it's going to go that way. And that's how it's happened. I think the core root of kind of the problem with people not recognizing that happens is that I don't know. It's kind of weird, I feel like.
I feel like technology has a big play in this, like with
Yeah.
cell
Yeah,
phones
that's what I was thinking.
and like screens everywhere. And like people are needing like blue light glasses because we're staring at screens so
Yep.
much.
See, because you see someone with glasses and you're like, oh, they have glasses. And they're like, oh, no, it's just blue light. So it's like, do they actually have an eye issue or is it
Right.
just,
Exactly.
do they actually just want to wear glasses? Like I'm going to rat on my brother for this right now, but my brother bought glasses just so he could look cool in them. Yeah, they're blue light and they help with
sweet.
screens, but we didn't have screens back then. What were you looking at that you needed blue light glasses? Your phone? You looking at the TV on the little screen on the telephone? Like, what were you doing? What were you looking at? Do you need? I don't even think that's powerful enough for you to need blue light glasses to see that. I don't get it.
I guess
And,
because
like,
you're staring at it
And,
so much.
and some people do buy them for just aesthetic purposes. They don't even look at screens that much, and they're like, I just wanted to look aesthetic, and I'm like,
okay, you go. Good for
Good
you.
for you.
For
Yeah.
you, I suppose.
I just feel like that's something people could forego and give up because it feels like a waste financially, physically. Like, think of where you're gonna store those. You're gonna store them in a little pouch and then put that pouch on a shelf and put them in a drawer. My OCD flares every time I think about someone buying something they don't need. Like, I don't need this jacket, but I bought it, and that's another part of that human condition. It's this is like a perception where I said this is bad, but I'm also doing it. It's like cognitive dissonance is really, that's a huge word.
No, I was literally talking about this with Carissa today. I was literally talking about it on the chat.
Cognitive dissonance? You brought those words up exactly.
No, because like she's a psychology major. So she just ended up, I don't know what the context was, but it was just brought up in the chat. And then she had like a whole thing about it. And then it kind of went into like little spiral things. But yeah, it's a very big thing. It is a very big thing.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about another thing real quick. Just as a side note, that's something I thought about today. People talk about like education reform real quick. And it feels like the same principle of time when we were kids. We had all the time in the world. We could do whatever we wanted in the day. And then our mom told us to go shower and go to bed. It's the same way with education. If we're supposed to be focused on bettering our communities locally, why do we get more global as we get older? Why do we put the harder concepts about internationality at the end? Why don't we start with that and talk about acceptance earlier
and then
focus on community at the end? Like, college should be focused, instead of being like an international and extraordinary education, this big grandiose thing. Why don't we focus in on that community, on how we could actually assist with our profession? Again, that profession might not exist, wherever you are, wherever, like, if you're from a farm town, if you're from New Orleans, there's definitely jobs there.
New Orleans. John?
My bad. I'm from DC, dude. I don't care. I'm just so cool. And Lauren's from Naples, Florida. Like,
cool is one way to put it. It's very cold.
You're from, that's true. That you're from Naples. Like, there's a city close enough. It's Tampa, right? Is the closest city, or is it Miami?
They're both 2 hours, like either direction.
Yeah,
John,
so you're 2 hours from a city.
As a boyfriend, this is your job.
I don't know what city's closest.
He doesn't
to
know
her.
Florida,
No,
unfortunately.
I don't need to know
he needs
Florida.
to go back.
I've been there,
Bring him back.
once in a decade, and that's my bad. Yeah. 10 years of my life goes by, and everyone's supposed to remember everything. For someone with good memory, that's actually kind of disappointing. Yeah. No, so you got a fair
Come on,
point.
John.
Never mind. I
Come
eat
on,
my
John,
words,
do
yeah.
better.
But like, I feel like am I wrong, or am I just chatting? Am I just speaking knowledge, or is it wrong out altogether? Like, I feel like we should focus more on community when we get to this level of education. Be like, how can we bring these skills back into our communities for those that can't afford to go to a college like this, or can't afford to go to a college period, or don't have the time? Because as you get older, that's how it is. It's not like it's something we choose to do, to lose more of our time. But like, it's kind of a choice, but it's like, it's a choice that we make unconsciously.
No, because I feel like with college, you're around, I guess depending on which college you go to, you're around more like-minded people. Like, here, we're around kids our own age, basically. And like, working together as a community.
We want to focus on
We're all
community when we get older, instead of focusing on, like, being this big interwide connected, society. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great way to network and make friends, greet people. Like, that's something we want to do. We are social people. We want to do this. Is it more about what we want or what we need? I feel like we need to focus more on, like,
Skills.
our skills, like basic skills, like blacksmithing.
I would so be
Trade
down.
schools. I
Yeah,
think
trade
trade schools do
yeah.
need to be more. They have become more popular recently,
Mhm.
but
The
I
wait
think
list
they're
is
definitely
insane.
yes. But I think it's definitely very interesting. Like, as someone who is undeclared,
Yeah.
as someone who doesn't know what I want to do in the
Clueless.
future,
Completely.
very
Go
much,
on.
very clueless.
No, let me stop you.
As someone who doesn't know what I want to do in the future, it would be very nice to have skills that I know I can go back on. However, I am going to kind of counter you a little bit.
Yeah.
I think networking is very important and could help a lot because people can teach
Yes.
you skills further down the
Yeah.
line. And it is nice to have a community that you can fall back on.
Yeah, not to say it's a bad thing, but more to say, like, we hyper focus on it too. Like think about like sites
you
like
talking
Indeed,
about-
LinkedIn, like job sites that will
LinkedIn
focus on
especially.
getting you to a job and not worrying about that location. Some people will look at those sites and not worry about where that job is and just be like, oh, this job, I look perfect for the resume. And then they realize
It's not so good.
it's on the other side of the state or it's on the other side of the country. It's not even in my country. Like what happens when you do that? And it's just, I feel like trying to find a job that fits you in your hometown for your set profession, and not to say not to study abroad, like that's all good and all, and I will still love to do that, but we need to still remember where we started.
Yeah.
And as time gets faster, we start forgetting more and more things. As you know, we get more addicted to screens, we get more addicted to certain things. Like
You need a way to stay grounded.
we need a way to stay grounded, and I'm curious what that is because I don't see any like solutions for that, and I think it's just a big sacrifice that we subconsciously choose to make. We choose to let our lives get in the way. We choose to let everything else block us from where we started.
Right.
That starting line is still there, and our finish line is miles down the road. Why are we not thinking about where we started?
Sometimes we can't continue where we started.
Of course.
So not to like trash on Louisiana and the colleges at all,
Go
but
for it.
the education system is terrible. We are 48th or 49th in the country out of the 50 states for education. I had
Lauren,
to
where's
leave.
Florida?
Honestly, I don't know. I
further
have
up.
to
It was a
I have
lot
to look
further up
that
than
up.
that,
I
but-
should probably get on that.
I was gonna say you're probably like somewhere in the middle,
Mhm.
and
I would assume.
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
Virginia's like top 10 or top 5. I'm not
It
too
is.
sure.
It is definitely high
Yay.
up there.
It-
But like what I'm.
I'm educated.
He knows.
Yeah.
Exhibit
But-
A.
But it is. It's important to go back to your community and give back. But if there is a better opportunity for you somewhere else, and you can't give back to the community
Yeah.
in a way that you can still sustain yourself, you know,
Right. Yeah.
I think
no,
it's
so
heartbreaking. But
something I would say to that is like if you have trauma from your hometown, and I don't know how a whole hometown could you remind you of that trauma, but
that's not what
and-
I'm saying. But
but-
yeah.
but I'm referencing it to this. I know what you're saying, but like
Mhm.
I'm referencing to something like this.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if you had something you couldn't go back to, or is like something like that.
Yeah.
I would understand that, but I feel like if you just make this conscious choice to leave where you lived, like imagine living in a small town like Naples, and one day Naples dies out because everyone left to find a job in the big city.
Right.
Imagine that dies out. It might be a popular tourist destination, but tourists can't be the population of a town year round.
Mhm.
They got to go home to their jobs.
It's eternal summer in Florida.
That's true.
But yeah,
Yeah, but that's why people go down there for vacation all times of the year. It's,
exactly.
That's why people
in
retire
winter,
there.
winter people will go down there from like New York, the upper New England states,
Mhm.
just to get away from the cold, and they'll be down there like, oh, this is warm, and the Floridians are like, this is freezing. I need a hoodie and a jacket and everything else under the
Yes.
sun. And I'm like, it's 58 degrees out at night. It's warm.
That is chilly.
That is
That is-
so
that
warm.
is chilly.
Very cold.
That is
That
chilly.
is so warm.
That's me in my
It's
sweatpants.
so warm.
Yeah.
With
58?
like
You get it. You get
thick
it.
hoodie or sweatshirt on top. Sometimes another jacket
I'm
on top.
bundling up, putting on my hats.
My boss is winking at me.
Oh my
Help.
goodness.
But
Not you.
No, not you.
Yeah, that's another great reference. So we do have a live studio audience with us today, which consists of two people,
Yes.
which is Mr. Scott Ialachi himself, who's monitoring how I'm doing and my timing. And then we have our lovely past guest, Marielle, also. Just to shout them out, we appreciate you two being here. But, and I think that we can round that topic out, though, to bring that back. Is it's a subconscious sacrifice. Do you guys have any subconscious sacrifices you guys make? Or do you think you could come up with an idea of that? Something you do without thinking. Which is why I'm going to keep rambling for a second to keep you thinking.
I guess it's kind of one that I know a lot of people do, but I guess it's like kind of common culture, but like cursing. I know a lot of people do that, but subconsciously, I don't do that. That's just not what I was raised with. It's not how my brain is wired. But like if I like stub my toe, I'm like, ow, that hurt. I don't think.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Tootin' rattin', mahogany.
But yeah, it's
You
different.
say all the words that are
All
not in
of
the
them.
Urban Dictionary. Yeah.
Yes.
You start listing off types of trees: mahogany, plank,
I don't know if
oak.
y'all-
I
I
start
don't know
speaking
if
another
Maple.
y'all-
language.
Help.
But yeah, it's like
What's up,
I don't know if y'all have ever heard me do this,
Mary?
but yes, that is my name.
that was so
OMG.
low.
But whenever I get really mad, in the place of a curse word, I will bleep it out myself. So I'll be like, "What the man?" And I will do not hover
That
over the
takes skill.
soundboard.
That is skill.
Well, I do it, like,
appreciate. I have the
subconsciously.
button over here to censor all of us, and it will mute all our mics.
And it will mute all of our mics.
I don't know if it's
Help.
recorded and if we can use it. Yeah, is it not recorded?
Should we go back to the
Okay.
topic, maybe?
Yeah. Yes. Please.
No, we're sorting things out. You know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sat
yeah,
in the chair
that's-
for the first time for the podcast.
That's one
you
thing
know.
that I
sense.
subconsciously
I'm
do.
examining things. It's,
Yeah, that's what I do, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Mary, do you have anything you subconsciously do, but like you don't think about it when it happens? Like something it's like driving. You turn on your
Like
turn signal to
naturally.
turn.
Yeah.
Like it's something you just naturally do because it was how you were taught. It's how you were ingrained to do that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, I had to teach myself how not to do this.
Uh-huh.
But this is gonna sound so bad, guys. But let me
Okay.
explain. I call people pet names.
Explain,
But in like
please.
like southern kind way. Like
do you
I'm
call
talking to
like,
Lauren.
can I have a question?
I'm talking to Lauren and I'll be like, "Hey, my love,
Mhm.
how you doing?"
That's just
Yeah.
Southern hospitality.
Yes.
Like-
But I had to start stopping that
Mhm.
because we have so many people from so many different places.
They might
That-
take it the wrong way.
They
Have you
have
ever-
taken it the wrong way.
Have you ever called someone a dear heart? I
I've
would-
called a lot of people babe before.
Dear heart?
Not dear heart.
I've been called a dear heart by
That's very
a
interesting.
lovely lady from Tennessee
Oh.
at Dollywood, and
Okay,
I
that's
was
different. Tennessee
yeah.
is a little.
That's also true.
It's like another yeah.
But like, do you ever think about like those mannerisms where like people come from, like even by state?
Oh yeah.
And we Americans were so one brain celled over here that our country's so big we don't even think about it.
Mhm.
But like it doesn't even matter which county you're from. It's about the state. People have it's so different per state.
Mhm.
As driving through many states as a person who does that on a daily basis,
Driving is the best way to.
that is so crazy. The amount of people
The
who
Maryland
like I've
drivers.
had.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, baby? Darling. I've heard it
That
all.
was so
Yeah.
flirty.
Yeah,
help.
I've had it. Oh yeah, my bad. That's something I
Yikes.
think that's something also I like subconsciously do
Mhm.
and forego is like I'll be flirty without thinking about it.
You will.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for validating that,
It's okay,
Mary.
I still love
Sorry,
you.
Lauren.
No.
It's okay. We keep him in check.
No,
Whoa.
we got it. We got it.
Whoa. Yeah, but no, that's something I do subconsciously do, and it's personally for me, I enjoy it because I feel like I'm giving someone a
A
compliment.
compliment.
Yeah.
It's not anything.
Do we have something to say, Mary? Would you like to put your 2 cents in on this?
Because I know he's not flirting with anyone.
Yeah.
I know.
Scott, can I
Our
swear?
relationship works basically.
Well,
But
I
Okay,
that's
I'm not
just the
taking
way,
your
I
permission
guess.
anymore.
Oh,
You want to put
it
your 2
goes.
shits in, yeah? 2 shits. You want to put your 2 shits in?
As long as
That's what
I
I
know,
said the first
then
time
I
I
guess he's
missed
good.
it.
guys.
Go on. You'll
okay,
never be
it's
back
just-
on.
It's just very strange for me.
Yeah.
Because
Keep going.
again, another thing about New Orleans specifically, so not Louisiana, but New Orleans specifically, if you want to have a good education in like New Orleans, you need to go to a Catholic all-boy or all-girl high school. So I went to an all-girl high school.
Louisiana was French at one point. Is that
Yes, Cajun
part,
French.
part of the Catholic background?
Part
there?
of the Catholic back, yes,
Okay.
very much.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Almost, that's another thing that has been very strange to me.
Cajun
have-
French. How are Cajun fries down there?
So good.
Okay, go on.
So
No,
good.
don't let me derail
Anyway,
you. I just had to know.
Two things.
Uh-huh.
Number one, this is so strange. I'm just not used to men, like at all, because I went to an all girls
Sorry.
high school and high school starts in 8th grade for us. So for 5 years.
Huh.
Not
For
around
5
just
years.
around girls.
Yeah, except for
I'll send to
2
the governor of
hours
your
a
state
week?
some tips about education if you don't mind.
I quite liked my high school, but it was
Yeah,
it was
but
an
like
interesting
starting
experience.
high school as your 13-year-old, no shot that is good for you at all.
Well, I also
Because
started
you've just become a teenager. You've just become what is that considered freshman, or is you just count as 8th grade but
8th
you're in
grade.
high school?
high school.
They counted 5th grade as middle school in my
Wait,
school.
what are the 2 states lower than you?
I don't know. I don't want
I'm
to know.
so curious. It's got to be like Arkansas or something. Not to rat on people from
Help.
Arkansas, but I'm
Help.
so maybe it's New York.
It
Scott.
could be. Could be.
There's no shot it's New York because
No, because there are some.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
really good schools in New York.
Yeah.
Mary,
Guys.
Mary's having some reserves, man.
Mary has some reserves. That's true.
It's okay. We're doing great.
We all
We're doing
have
great.
reserves, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. What's an opinion you sacrifice willingly? I just got a notification. What's an opinion you sacrifice willingly that you don't think about? Like, cause you want to accept that social norm. What is that you
That
sacrifice?
social norm here or
Think
just in general?
Anywhere. Like, think in the country. Like, where would you go in the country that you just wouldn't do this thing because it's an accepted social norm, but you might do with your family? Think about that. Because there's certain things like I'll call my brother names beyond compare. But at the end of the day, I still love him. I can't do that in public. It's like something like
Right.
that, almost akin to it. It's a reference, but not exactly how you would picture it. Like going out on the streets, I wouldn't call my brother that name in public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying we're going shopping at the mall or something. Like I'm going with my sister. I wouldn't, openly tease her. Actually, I do that anyway. I wouldn't, like call her a name in public, and unless I was really like shocked or ticked off. I don't know. Like it's something I wouldn't do.
This is another thinker question.
Yeah, no, we're really about that here. We like making your brains hurt and then sending you on your way with a numbskull.
I just help. I just
Because like
can't.
I'm
looking
trying
at
to
John
think
right
of
now.
stuff. Because like
No, just barrel yourself
There's
down the camera
really
and think about it. What do you see in yourself that you forego as a custom to yourself? It's custom to you, but it's not to anyone else. So you're not sure it's custom to anyone else, so you don't do it.
my siblings and I, we made a list recently.
Yeah, you and your siblings are weird, man.
Yeah.
Like you and your sister's cheerleading skills. Yeah, that's another one we should talk about after this. Go on.
It's very good cheerleading. We great. Amazing.
Lauren,
But
someone just scored a 3-pointer and it was a swish. What do you do?
that is something I say for basketball games and or my sister.
Okay, is that right? Well,
But-
for anyone wondering, I'll do it for her. She goes, swoosh. Oh yeah.
It's a thing that my team had. It was just a fun tradition that we did. It was I don't know where when it started, but I guess that's something that we do at our school. I guess could that be one thing that we do?
Do what?
What
are we talking about?
The one thing
My
that
director was staring me down off camera.
I guess the
I
one
don't
thing
know what
that
I did.
my school does, but no other school does, and I would not do in public. But yet for the podcast, I'll do it for y'all. I guess would that be a thing or no? Because
Yeah, it's something that you willingly forego in public, but you're willing to do in the comfort of friends or family.
yeah, I would say I guess that would be one, but otherwise,
Like little weird things that you do, like or weird faces you make, like or like I don't know.
oh my goodness,
Oh dear.
But yeah, I guess it's like quirky little things. But otherwise, I would say I stay genuinely true to who I am in public. It's respectable, but it's not anything too crazy.
I think that's a big part of how we go about sacrificing things is trying to stay authentic to ourselves.
Right.
And I think getting to closing this out, to talk about authenticity to yourself without sacrificing that. Because, talking about sacrificing, you don't want to give up yourself just to please the public. How do you keep yourself without sacrificing that, but with also being respectful to others? Mary, do you have any thoughts on this?
No thoughts, head empty. Just kidding.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah. Sorry. I think what's really helped me, humans are social creatures, but I am an extremely social person. Finding people that you can trust who are similar to you, hold similar beliefs, similar values, similar humor. And it doesn't have to be like one set of people won't like fulfill all of this, but just having people that you can almost ground yourself in.
Yeah.
That's really helped me a lot because I really want to fit in, especially this is such a different culture from where I've grown up.
It's definitely a new change, I would have to say.
Definitely. That finding people who are very similar, very like-minded, very kind, that I enjoy being with. I know, I'm playing y'all up. John's ego is gonna go through the roof.
What am I doing?
Perfect. He does not know.
Yes. See,
But
you
just-
get it.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and
But
wave.
see what I mean, y'all? Like, having someone you can relate with who is similar to you, who is kind, who you can trust, who you can confide in.
And you can bounce off of each other.
Right,
Like, whether
right.
it's good, whether it's bad. Not bad. Definitely not bad. But, like, y'all can keep each other in check is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
That helps me stay authentic and like keeping these little traditions from home. So like eating king cake for Mardi Gras or
Hell
celebrating.
yeah.
Oh, it's so
That is so
good.
fun.
Mardi Gras.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But stuff like that and sharing it with my friends, like sharing my little traditions.
Yeah. I think it's really sweet. I think that's a great note to end the podcast on. I've been John Silk. You can find me here at the Talking Stone Podcast or at the John Silk on Instagram. I won't be active for the next 38 days, but you'll see me after that.
Happens.
Where can we find Miss Lovely Lauren?
You can find me on Instagram at laurenlappin.20 and LinkedIn. I'm trying to grow my network.
Mostly Mary, where can we find you?
You can't find me anywhere.
That's a good statement. Can we find you at High Point University on campus walking around
Sometimes.
somewhere with a boot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So
We need to get you a scooter.
no, I don't want one. So I
look
don't
funny.
have social media. It is funny. I don't have social media. Just personally.
Do you have a LinkedIn?
I will.
One day.
Eventually.
Okay.
Soon.
Eventually.
So when I have time.
We'll drop the link.
My schedule is cray.
We'll drop
the link.
Yeah, when in 20 days when that happens, or like in 2 years when that happens.
Hey,
we'll-
that
Mary
I don't know
Dufrene.
when you're doing it. Yeah, we're gonna randomly post on the like podcast Instagram.
Mary. has
Mary
a
Dufrene
LinkedIn.
at LinkedIn.
No,
All right.
Crazy.
I think with that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I've been John Silk.
I've been Lauren Lappin.
I'm Mary Dufresne.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. This was really fun.
This is so much fun.
Yes.
Definitely better second round.